We're here. All
Hi,
righty.
good morning.
Good morning and welcome. I'm excited to be here again, sharing some more on finding your new normal. And today, Ruth and I are going to roll out our new format where we make sure that we have a clear path by setting the intention first of what we're going to be discussing. And then Ruth will be leading us in a guided meditation before we lead into our discussion.
That's just so we don't go off on too many crazy tangents and spend the entire half hour laughing, right?
I'm good with laughter.
Okay.
But the bunny trails have led us down some bunny trails.
Let's focus. Thank you, Mary.
Absolutely. So today's intention is the first gift of the season, where we talk about the importance of really narrowing down what's the most important gift of the first important gift of the season. I don't know if that made sense, but
it will.
All righty. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you.
Terrific. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of breath work this morning. The gift that we're talking about, or the gifts that we're talking about, are ones that we give ourselves. Mm-hmm. So here's the first gift you can give yourself, and that's a little bit of control. So when you feel things spinning just a little bit, you bring yourself back to this spot. Okay. So take a deep breath. Deep breath in through your nose, close your eyes, out through your mouth really gently, steadily. And another deep cleansing breath in. Hold it at the top. When you hold it at the top, feel the energy flowing through your body. You're activating all that energy as you exhale slowly out. Feel that light from the energy that you just collected at the top of your breath. Breathe at your own pace, but take your deep breath in, hold it slightly. And as you hold it, you're extracting all that energy from the breath and letting it radiate down your entire body. Feel it go through your brain. Feel it radiate from your brain to your heart, through your arms to your fingertips. Deep breath in, hold it at the top, extract that energy, and let it pour down your entire body. Feel that flow, this time all the way through your torso, down your legs and out your toes. One more time, deep breath in, hold it at the top, extract the energy. Feel that flow, feel that rainbow flow down your whole body. And then slowly come back to yourself. Feel your fingertips. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your jaw just a little bit. Make sure it's relaxed and comfortable. Roll your neck. And open your eyes. You can return to that anytime, even when the dog is barking in the background.
I apologize.
No, that's fine. Is that the guide dog? Is that the guide dog or is that the beagle?
That's the guide dog. The beagle is actually sleeping at my feet, ignoring it effectively.
Excellent. Excellent.
That is a visiting puppy that we have. So he's out of his element.
Oh, and we need to, we're all kind of out of our element this time of year. Especially those dealing with some kind of thinking challenge. So thank you, puppy dog, for that reminder that when we're out of our element, we bark.
We bark. We do bark.
Mm-hmm.
We do
and it's
bark.
Okay.
It's a different way of expressing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we can't find the words.
Yeah, and sometimes even when you look really hard for them and you know what words you're looking for, they're just not there. So there's a good example of that kind of thing that just happened to me. We went on an amazing trip, and on that trip we kept seeing beautiful things, spectacular things. Day 2, I ran out of words in the English language. for how gorgeous it was. So I started asking people, I'm learning words in Quechua, I'm learning words in Spanish, I'm learning words, Native Incan words, to describe just how beautiful it is. There are so many ways you can describe something. That's a very cool way to look at it. So the puppy dog just reminded us of that. And welcome, Kathy. We're so happy you joined us. You want to come in? Oh, good. This will be fun.
This is fun. I apologize for the barking again.
No problem. No problem. Can you hear us, Kathy? It's okay. It's okay. So let's talk about the gift we're going to give ourselves today, Mary.
Well, and I think this is a good transition. I think that having the barking is kind of representative of how much chaos can go on during the holiday season where we feel overwhelmed. Hi,
Kathy. Okay. Seriously, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just got back from the gym.
Excellent. We host Come As You Are parties, so no worries.
It was horrible, but I didn't want to miss it.
You have so much to offer to this conversation. Today we're talking about giving yourself gifts and how important that is, especially as a caregiver and a busy person. And gee, what better person to talk about that than you, right? Yeah. So go ahead, Mary. Where were you going?
I was saying that during this time when things get really chaotic, and as caregivers especially, if we're so concerned about giving to everybody else, that we can forget to put ourselves on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when we get into the role of things moving rapidly and trying to get this done and that done, and you think, oh, well, what can I give myself? What can I, okay, I'll stop for a Starbucks. Okay, I don't really have time to stop, so I'll do a drive-through. Okay, I don't really have time for a drive-through, so maybe next week.
Right.
And all of a sudden, we're off the list.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important when we think about the first gift that we put ourselves at the top of that list before the season really gets chaotic and we get started and we think, what's going to make the season best for me? Where can I carve 5 minutes so I can really give this some thoughtful consideration?
Right. And another part of that is things are going to happen. And that moment's going to happen when you don't have time to give to yourself.
Yep.
So going back to your breath, returning to your breathing, returning yourself to that point where you take that deep breath in and hold it for a second and feel the energy just flowing down. Even if you're giving yourself just that little bit, you got to breathe anyway, right?
Exactly.
Why not expect as much good from that breath as you can and use it and leverage it? So, Kathy, what kind of tools do you use to nurture yourself?
Well, I go to the gym.
Uh-huh.
Almost every day. I try very hard to get there every day.
Good for you.
Every morning when I wake up, I tell myself I'm grateful for something. I start my day that way. And even if it's just the bed that I'm laying in, which, by the way, I love my Tempur-Pedic bed.
Yeah, you put hashtag ad before that one.
I should. Right? Honestly, I have not monetized one thing I've ever done. It's crazy because I always talk about the things that I love.
Yes. And isn't that the coolest thing is that we can talk about the things we love.
Yeah.
And not that sponsored stuff isn't genuine.
Yes.
But
yes, and honestly, it is genuine. Why not tell people about this? We do it anyway, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So that's what I mean, that's the other thing I do. I start my morning with a grateful check. Just if it's the only thing I can come up with, it's my Tempur-Pedic bed, and so those two things I find very, very helpful. The other thing that I'm trying to do this season as the first gift to myself and to everyone is to try and remind myself that it's enough. I'm enough. What I'm doing is enough. What I'm giving you is enough. What I'm getting from you is enough. It's enough.
Amen.
Amen. I'm giving you props.
I'm trying to find where I can do props because my little hands are showing.
I guess that's Blab's way of clapping.
That was
cool. Seriously, and
I see it.
let's take that a little bit further too. So we can turn that into a tool for people. So if you say to yourself, I'm enough, take a deep breath. And in that deep breath, breathe in all the good energy, feel that cool rush through your nose. And then as you're exhaling, just say to yourself, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough.
Mm-hmm. Because this is a time of excess.
Pardon me?
Right? This is a time of excess. We're always, did we get enough gifts? Did we bake enough cookies? Did we go to enough things to show people we love their parties and whatever, you know? Right. Everything is so excessive.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's a perfect segue because I asked my two daughters, they're both college age now. And I said, give me a list. One wish, one want, one need.
Oh, I love that.
And they both came back and said, I don't really want for anything, Mom. And my older daughter said, my textbooks for next semester. I'm like, well, that's kind of a given, honey. And she goes, that's really all I want and all I need.
That's great.
And I'm having to find myself say, and then it's okay. If I find something small here and there, then let it be.
Yeah.
If it doesn't strike me as something that that it's going to light up their face, then it's okay too.
You know, light up their face, light up their heart, however you want to look at that. You know, and I think that what we can do for ourselves is we can breathe life into anything.
Yes.
We can breathe gratitude into anything if we focus on it. It's a matter of intention. It's a matter of taking what's right there and taking, that Starbucks moment you were talking about, Mary?
Yes.
That and giving yourself the opportunity to say, okay, so I don't have time for Starbucks, but I've got a time to take this breath and nurture myself. I have enough time to roll my window down, take in the air and focus on how it feels on my fingers.
Yes.
That wind feels like on my cheeks. It's going to feel differently for the two of you than it does for me, right?
Right.
Yes, exactly.
To see the lights. Last night I was at the mall, and I avoid the mall usually like the plague at this time of year. It's too much for me. And we had a guide dog meeting there last night where we were socializing the puppies, and we introduced them to Santa. And I was so focused on Scooby, who was not quite in the groove.
Yeah, he's young.
Huh?
Young.
And so it felt a little stressful for me, and that was going right up through the leash and down the leash. And I pulled myself aside, and I just focused on this one Christmas tree display. And I focused on my breath, and all of a sudden he calmed and I calmed. And I thought, in the middle of all of this, I could carve that moment and give that to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Ruth, I can't honestly even just thank you enough for reminding about this breathing thing, which is so simple but so complex and so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And I'm just gonna tell my friends when we're having lunch or dinner or shopping or whatever, let's just all stop and take a breath.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful.
Before you came in, we did a little exercise that kind of, that took us there. And maybe we should close with something that has to do with breath too. What do you think, Mary?
Love it.
That idea. Excuse me,
Love it.
1 second. The beagle pushed open the door, and I'm going to close it again so the puppy doesn't get any louder.
So, Ruth, I'm so happy to see you.
This is the first time we've had a semi-live interaction. I'm
exactly.
To ask you this. So when you let's take this to caregiving moments, because your book is hysterical. Can I do a little plug for your book?
Please, plug away.
Yeah. Kathy wrote this amazing book about taking care of her grandmother and her child at the same time, and all of those moments in life. I know you also take care of someone with a TBI.
I do. And I also, up until very recently, took care of my brother-in-law who had multiple sclerosis and was wheelchair bound. He passed away in October.
Right. So when you're caregiving,
Yes.
That is the hardest time to give yourself a gift because, you know, your purpose, your focus is that person. How do you find yourself paying attention?
Well, you know, Ruth, humor is my biggest focus. My book, Mary, is called Showering with Nana, Confessions of a Serial Killer, and that's crossed out and it says caregiver.
You must read it.
I have to have this book.
now I know what to give you as a gift because
it's funny. I mean, it's mostly funny. There are certainly a lot of poignant moments in it, but it's about my 92-year-old and my 2-year-old and me taking care of them at the same time. Yeah.
Do you have a copy nearby that you could hold up?
I can grab one real quick to show you the cover.
Please do. Yeah. And then we'll when I put this up, because we're gonna start, you know, we're putting these on YouTube, I'll make sure that I put a link to your Amazon.
Thanks.
Because I think you do the most amazing job of inserting humor in spots where most people would melt down. You know, most people. Well, not only that, they don't. Yeah, they describe the mall scene. You remember the mall scene from the book?
Oh, yeah. I use that in my speeches all the time. I say in February of 1991, I lost my grandmother. She didn't die. I actually lost her in the mall. And we were shopping and I sat her down. She was very tired. And I said, I'm going to run into this store, grab a card, come out. And she was gone. She was gone. And we're running through the mall and I've got a 2-year-old and she needs her diaper changed and she's crying and the security guard thinks I'm a lunatic. And my grandmother is wearing a gold and orange brocade coat. And they asked me if she has any other distinguishing marks. And I'm like, she's 92. She's wearing a gold and orange brocade coat. Like, that's really not enough to find her?
Yeah. I think humor is such a great tool. It takes a little energy, though. And it takes a little bit of, sometimes when you're looking after someone, we need another way of talking about caregiving. And I think the closest I've come so far is partner in healing, but that sounds kind of out there. But it's a good start. It's a good start. Caregiver, it feels so, I don't know if it's society, but it feels a little oppressive.
I think for both sides.
It is. I agree.
How did we lose?
Because, the other side of the coin that people lose is they don't remember that the person, your caregivee, which is what I call them, also has a sense of humor. Just because they're ill or chronically dealing with something doesn't mean they can't find the humor or the joy in life. And it's often forgotten between those parties, the caregiver and the caregivee.
Yes. I think we lost your video, Kathy.
Oh, really? What do I do?
I don't know. See if there's a video camera button.
Recording.
Okay. We can still hear you. Now you look like your button on the top is back. Sometimes we have little glitches with Blab, and a lot of that is our inexperience dealing with technology too. We're trying hard. So
our learning curve.
Our learning curve. Thank you so much. It's a great way to put it. It's let's go back to giving the gifts to ourselves, and I think humor is one of those big gifts.
I think humor is a huge gift, whether it's and I think that if that's the first gift you give yourself, whether it's humor in that the batch of cookies or candy didn't turn out the way you had hoped they would turn out, or humor in that you stepped in that snowdrift as you were trying to get into the mall, humor that your child melted down because the boyfriend decided to break up with her on Christmas Eve or whatever it is.
Oh, horror.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the time to laugh at your child.
Yeah.
No, right.
Go in the bathroom and laugh at all those life experiences that we've all crossed.
Exactly.
Take to add levity to an otherwise can be a heavy
because the truth of the matter is, Mary, these are universal experiences.
Exactly.
And they are fun. We do, sometimes you have to be a little removed from it to see the humor. Yeah. But they're funny. Yeah, totally.
The other thing you just brought up, I mean, you brought up another good point. We talk about the gifts of age. Now, with one of those gifts is that we have all of these experiences. We have all these things we can go back to and tap into that we can laugh at. So things get a little rough. You know, I now have this image of your 92-year-old grandmother in this jacket going through the mall that I can use, and thank you for that gift. You know, anything we can use, and the more we experience, the more we feel, the deeper and richer we make our lives, the more we add to our lives, the more we have to pull from too, and the more joy we can extract from those moments in humor. Joy and
yes.
I had no problem picturing myself as the 92-year-old grandma.
Yeah,
God, I love that.
Picturing themselves as the person looking for the 92-year-old, and you're the 92-year-old. That's wonderful.
I think I really.
All right, girls, amongst yourself. I'm going to grab my book.
Oh, great.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
I do think that finding the ability to laugh at ourselves, and especially in this season, because as far as I'm concerned, this season is about joy and lightness and the best giving of myself that I can give to others. And if I'm going to do that, then I have to give the best me to myself.
Right. Yeah.
And I typically find that when I'm laughing at myself, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, and you know, in moments like you did an amazing thing when you took the leash and you walked away. You realized that you're sending energy back and forth to the dog. Yeah. You know, everything we touch is picking up what we do and what we feel. So we're radiating. Yeah. And if we can find a way to radiate, to change our perspective, radiate what's good.
Yes.
And expect good and expect the best and expect things to go right. Yep. We can radiate that. Other people feel that. You know, I know it's not possible all the time. It's just not. But we can try.
But we breathe all the time.
Yes.
And so taking your exercise with us.
Yeah.
We find that our pulse is quickening or our jaw is clenching. To take that moment and say, okay, and how is my breathing right now?
Yes.
Right.
I have to tell you a quick funny. The other day, I was in my bedroom and it was early in the morning and I was resting on my comfortable bed, which is not a Tempur-Pedic, but it was comfortable. And I have my little earbuds in and I'm doing my guided meditation. And the 4-month-old guide dog puppy, Scooby, is in the room next door. He's in my daughter's room, just bark, 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 barking, because he's got some mommy issues and he knows that if he can hear me even moving, he wants me. And I got my earbuds in and I'm determined to do my guided meditation. And the guy says, and we're going to focus on our breathing. And I all of a sudden realized my breathing is something like a Lamaze breathing. I took my little earbuds out and thought, probably not the moment. I need to address this first and then come back to my breathing.
Very funny.
Right.
Exactly.
There are moments that you just can't take yourself out of. That's a great point. You know, there are times when you just need to calm it, control your environment. You know, in the midst of a brain injury. Lights, sounds, people.
Yes.
Are horrifying, absolutely horrifying.
Yes.
Controlling those little things, those things that make life uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yes.
So that you can find the comfort, you know, so you can take the breathing down.
Yes. It helps to tell people. I mean, a brain injury is, you know, my friend with the brain injury jokes all the time and stuff like that. She'll go, you know, I have a brain injury, you know, and we've been dealing with this for a long time. But it helps to actually, Mary, tell people.
It does.
Whether you have a brain injury or not, I need to step away for a minute and you know, just be honest. Like you even did with your dog at the mall, right? You really literally stepped away.
Yeah,
with that dog.
And sometimes you literally have to step away, remove yourself from the situation, or remove the thing that's making you crazy. for
Yeah.
example, lights still bother me. Fluorescent lights distract me beyond, it takes my brain someplace that I can't pull it back. And that's frustrating. So I try and avoid fluorescent lights. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
For me, it's flashing lights.
Flashing lights, yeah.
Even if it's a siren. If it's an emergency vehicle, the other day there was an ambulance coming straight toward me. And I had to turn away because I couldn't watch it. It was just, it's too intense.
You know that, both of you, but the people around you might not. And I have told my friend, we, the girls who know her and have spent this really important time with her, have told her, you need to tell people, I just need to step away, because people get offended or people think you're being rude or whatever. And it in fact is a legitimate, I have a brain injury, I need to step away. But even those of us who don't have a brain injury have those same moments. And there's nothing wrong with just saying, I need to step away for a minute.
Yeah.
We have to stop being so nice.
Yeah.
And again, bringing it back to the gifts that we give ourselves, I think that's the gifts we give ourselves. I talked to Ruth knows that both of my daughters had sensory issues. They were on the spectrum with sensory issues. And I used to tell them, the bathroom is your best friend. Sometimes you just need to remove yourself from the situation, and nobody's going to say, well, why are you going to the bathroom? You just go in, close the door, and that's sometimes the best place you can breathe.
That's excellent advice.
Yeah. Let's show your book.
So here's my book,
Larry. At a time.
Showering with me. All right, I'm writing this down because it sounds too stinking funny.
I'm a cartoon. They made me a cartoon. How cute is that?
I love it.
Yeah, and we're going on a book tour, right? We keep planning our book tour, don't we, Kathy?
I know. Yes.
Yeah. Fabulous.
And your audiobook is coming out.
But with that,
your audiobook, right, Ruth, is coming out?
Oh, yeah. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for Audible to say, yes,
for you.
It's good. It's in my voice too, which was frightening. That was a scary, scary thing to do.
That's what I would like to do that myself with this book.
Yeah.
I'm like you. You passed the I'm not brave enough place.
Oh, I know. You got to move past that, because we need to hear that book in your voice.
That's what I'm thinking. And we need to hear, I'm excited to hear your book in your voice, Ruth, because when I read it, it was your voice that I was reading.
Yeah.
And Kathy, now that I've met you,
right.
I will read your book in your voice. I think your voices actually add something to your written
I totally agree. I agree.
That's a good exercise that you can do too. A good focusing exercise. Pick up a book, or pick up a book. Look at the author's picture. Imagine what that author sounds like, and read the first paragraph and see if you can take yourself into that author's shoes. Never tried that before, but I bet that would be a good focusing and centering exercise to do. Take yourself, transport yourself to another place.
Yeah.
That's a really neat idea.
Yeah. We have 1 minute left. How do we do this every week? We have 1 minute left.
Boom. It's gone.
So give yourself a gift. Give yourself a gift.
I just did. I met the two of you.
That's fabulous, Kathy. And I feel the same. And I'm going to take this moment for me to take a deep breath, prepare myself for puppy round 255.
Yeah, and as you exhale, just take Kathy's advice. I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough.
What a fabulous mantra for the whole season and the whole year.
Yeah. Much love to all of you.
Much love. Thank you so much for joining us, Kathy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.